So, for those who are unaware, ArenaNet has added anti-leeching and anti-AFK farming into the game. And what this means is that once you enter combat, if you don't move for 5 minutes, then you get kicked. So first of all, it wasn't working on day one, but apparently it is working now. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly test this in this beautiful AFK setup here. That is a very common one here on Bloodtide Coast. Okay, I've entered combat. I am now going to start my stopwatch. Here we go. So now we have to wait 5 minutes, which is going to be very enjoyable. Now, while we're waiting for the timer, I kind of want to talk about what this actually means and why I think this change is actually more impactful or useful than you might think. Because obviously, there's still a bunch of people doing this, as you can clearly see. And actually, I was speaking to Jaffa, who did a really big investigation into AFK farming. He actually says that he has already noted a very significant drop in the amount of accounts that he's found AFK farming. I'll actually quickly open my DM to talk about this. So he says that the amount of accounts he found at the same time, server time, right, went down from 86 down to 30. Right, so that's over a 50% reduction in how many people are engaging in this behavior. And some of that is going to be the new system kind of kicking people. Some of that is people going, well, I can't be bothered. If I can't go full AFK, then I simply can't be bothered. And some people are going to be scared off, right? Think, oh yeah, I'm going to get in trouble for doing this, right? Because ArenaNet is kind of taking action on this. But let me explain why I think this is actually a little bit more useful than you might think. If you want to AFK farm, okay, what this essentially means is that you're going to have to bot in order to do it in a convenient way. Unless you're literally tabbing into the game every 5 minutes to move your character, you are going to get kicked. So you either have to kind of inconvenience yourself, and then you're kind of living in this really annoying hell of having to tab into the game. It's not really AFK. It's not really worth it. And that's what's going to put people off, right? A lot of people are going to be put off like, oh yeah, screw it. I'm not going to tab into the game every 5 minutes. It's a bit boring, isn't it? It's not exactly much fun, right? So I think that's going to put people off a little bit. But more importantly, you can now be pretty damn sure that basically everyone here is botting, right? In this case, like, these are almost certainly bots at this stage. And I think that's really useful for ArenaNet, because I think that allows them to kind of be a bit more liberal with the ban hammer and kind of with actioning these accounts. Because previously, it's kind of a gray area. The game kind of let you do this with like the auto cast feature with Reaper, with minions, with NGs, right? Like all this kind of stuff, right? But realistically, at this point, almost everyone who's going to be here for hours and hours and hours, they're essentially botting. Like, obviously, I'm not botting right now. I'm at the computer. I'm looking at it. But theoretically, I'll be kicked in about 2 minutes from the game. Players who don't get kicked over long periods of time, they are essentially going to get kicked. Now, I am going to bring this up. This is important to talk about, actually. So, there is one slight issue with this system right now. Auto-running, so, the auto-run feature of the game, that currently appears to fully disable the AFK timer entirely, so ArenaNet probably have to fix that as well, because right now, if I wanted to do this in a quote-unquote legitimate way, I could actually auto-swim into the wall here, and as long as I found the correct angle that my character kind of gets stuck and doesn't get dislodged from this farm, I could do that indefinitely and this timer won't kick in. But again, I'm sure ArenaNet are aware of this and they will try and fix this. It's actually a problem in World vs. World 2, by the way, because it allows you to essentially AFK your participation. So this is not just an issue that I think is problematic in terms of AFK farming. I think it's also problematic in terms of World vs. World as well. So that's probably an issue that will be dealt with. And I realize I'm kind of sweating a little bit here, guys, because, oh, look, yeah, there we go. Unless you move or use a skill, you'll be kicked. It's working. Look at that. There we go. We're going to get kicked out in 60 seconds unless I move or use a skill. So it is working. I was almost worried that it wasn't working there, okay, but it is now actually functioning correctly. So it's been about 4 minutes now, and I am going to get kicked out, right? from this. So I think this is a pretty good change. And again, like the really important thing here is that it seems to have cut down on the number of accounts that are doing this, right? Which is obviously a good start. But again, like I said, most importantly, it's going to give ArenaNet, in my opinion, a bit more wiggle room to say, oh yeah, these people are clearly botting. They're clearly using some kind of macro, right? They're clearly violating the terms of service, right? Because realistically, who is going to be multi-boxing, tabbing into like 50 accounts doing this? Nobody is doing that. I'm sorry. There's no shot that anyone is doing that legitimately. At that point. So yeah, you know, I think it's kind of cool, right? You know, I like a little bit of fix. I think there's more to be done there. I think they can look at diminishing returns and all that kind of stuff, right? There's some more work that can be done, I think. And of course, some of these farms are less affected. Like the auto run thing is obviously problematic. That needs to be sorted out. But overall, I think ArenaNet kind of, they're working on it, right? Pretty cool. Pretty damn cool stuff, actually, in this regard. And I guess, you know, look, for those players who just kind of like, if you really still want to AFK farm, I mean, I guess you can, right? Like, if you're looking at your computer, like, you've got it on your other monitor, like, you tab in every 5 minutes, I guess you could still do that if you really want to. I mean, okay. You're gonna go like, oh, you know, I'm just, you know, I want to be AFKing on my rev, just farming away like crazy. I guess it's still possible, but, you know, I don't know. I guess that one's a little bit harder to kind of work around, right? Especially when you've got like an event that's kind of funneling this in, which it makes it, I think, a little bit more difficult to kind of deal with this. But yeah, I think a lot of the kind of non-bot AFK farm population has probably been filtered off by this pretty aggressively by these changes, because I think it's going to be more trouble than it's worth from a lot of player perspectives, I think. But there'll still be some people doing it, but just less, of course. And I think we will see ArenaNet take further action, right? It's clearly something that's on their radar now, and they're going to try and sort some of this stuff out. I want to just go to check the Choyas, actually, as well. Oh, look, yeah! Dude, this spot is actually so much deader than it was. That's very interesting, actually. Yeah, look, this is... Whoa! Wow, okay. And there are still some accounts here, to be clear, as you can clearly see. Like, we have this character is here. But if you compare this to... If you compare this to, like, how many people were here when I was with Jaffa, it's actually not even close. It's, like, way less accounts, actually, during it. I want to quickly check, actually, that this is not, like, a really full map because of the meta event, because there is a commander doing the meta. But if this is, like, a relatively small squad, then that won't be the issue. Yeah, this is a relatively small squad, so this map is not full. It's not that there's another copy of the map with more of these farmers on it. That's definitely not the case here. It's actually that there has been a cut down with regards to this. Let me actually quickly do another test, actually. Oh, they're doing fishing even. It's not even for the meta. They're doing fishing. Nice. Based. Let me quickly do another test with Greatsword. I'm going to go to the Choya spot and then use Greatsword on Reaper. Let's see where we go. So you have to do auto cast on this. Okay, here we go. Is that probably enough? I mean, that's probably enough, right? Okay, I'm going to start the timer again. Again, I'm almost certain this is going to kick me. Because, again, I'm pretty sure it's checking for a direct input. And I think that even if you break combat, the timer does not reset, by the way, guys. The timer does not reset if you break combat. So even if I have this on auto cast, which I now do, I'm still going to get booted here. I am almost certain of it. I don't think we're really in rage, but you can see I've dropped combat. I've now dropped combat fully, but I think the timer is still ticking down 5 minutes. Unless I press a button, it's going to stay this way. And like I said, guys, what this means... Oh, look! Do you see that, guys? Do you see that auto attack? And boom. Do you see the auto attack that went out from that Necromancer? I think they're macroing the 1 key. Yeah. Yeah, look what they're doing. They've got a macro that's pressing 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and maybe tab sometimes to tab onto the Choyas. You can kind of see what they're doing here. You can see how they're doing it. Yeah, they've got tab and 1 macroed. And yeah, this is going tab, 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 1, 1, 1. So this is a bot. This is a bot, guys. This is a bot. Or a macro user, whatever, like auto hotkey script, like something like that. Oh, yeah, and yeah, it could be auto-target, too. They could be using the auto-targeting, saying it's just mashing 1. That's true, actually, yeah. But this is kind of what I mean here. This is much more overt, right? This is very clearly macro usage. Very, very clearly macro usage. And before, it was kind of a grey area, little hard. But yeah, this is pretty blatant, if we're being honest. And look, by the way, guys, I was right. Remember when I said people are not going to be willing to use macros and actual full-on botting? Oh, who'd have thought, guys? I was totally right. Yeah, there are not that many people who are willing to cross that threshold. There are not many people who are willing to take that extra step and go on to full-on botting. Like, that is obviously always going to be a problem. Bots are going to plague every MMO. And this is just one form that botting takes. Funnily enough, guys, the really big bot operations in Guild Wars 2 are actually, like, they're this is crazy. Like, Jaffa's doing an investigation. It's honestly, if he catches this stuff, it's going to be so interesting. You guys are going to love this. Bots, like, teleport hack under the ground and, like, gather all the chests and mine all the nodes. You've probably seen this sometimes, by the way. You've probably thought it, like, what the hell happened there? Something weird kind of happening. You can see the macroed one attack there, by the way, guys, even with no target. Macroed auto attack. But yeah, that's where the real botting operations actually are. And you'll see them sometimes just like kind of poking their heads, poking through the ground. It's incredibly surreal. Right, incredibly surreal to kind of see it happen. But that's where a big botting operation is. Like, this is only one part of the botting operations that exist in Guild Wars 2 as well. But again, to kind of get back to the point while I wait to get kicked here, the big thing here is that you can clearly see way less people are willing to actually, you know, completely, blatantly break TOS by doing this kind of bot operation, right? That's what's going on here. And again, I should be getting kicked in about, I think, a little over a minute at this point. And then I'll go check Lake Doric, and that will be kind of like the final test. I'm sure there's other spots, but who cares? Like, these are kind of like the big ones with the Choyas and the underwater one. The Bloodtide Coast one's still very popular, though. And again, I suspect that group of accounts was actually a single player doing that, by the way. Or a couple of players, not that many players doing that one. And again, I think you can actually cheese that one with the auto run, too. Which, again, is obviously a vulnerability in the system. It's like, if you're able to cheese it with the auto run, then that's clearly problematic. So, yeah. And I guess you could do it here as well, maybe. Yep, there we go. It is actually working. So even though I have an autocast, that doesn't count as a skill input. I'm not pressing anything, right? So it's not going to it's not going to let me get away with that. We've seen the pop-up. We don't need to actually get kicked. We can just go look at Lake Doric now. Boom. Easy. Yeah, way less accounts here, actually. Way less accounts. Interesting. Lake Doric. Yo! So apparently, by the way, Darren's already checked, and apparently this farm was kind of dead on the NA server. So let's see if that's the same case on EU. They're kind of at this intersection in the road, aren't they? Oh, well, yeah. Okay, a little bit. Well, actually, I think this is less. It is less, actually. Yeah, it's less. A lot of engineers here, interestingly, actually. Yeah, it's still a lot less, though. Yeah, but there's still an operation going on here, of course, by the looks of that. And you can see that, yeah, some of these accounts... why would you even do it in the same guild? This is just very Papega. Like, even if you want to have all your accounts in a guild, just don't rep it, right? What are we doing here? Look, and you can see it's actually a lot of this same guild, isn't it? This, like the Hick guild. But it's actually a lot less. It's a lot less. It's so wild to me. People do this on their main. Like, because what this is... Let's see if we can get a response. Hello, gamers. Okay, and I'll do this. We'll have to be a bit political about this, guys. There is a very high chance that these players are macroing or botting. I won't accuse them directly. That is unfair. It's entirely possible they are tabbing in every 5 minutes, but just unbelievably unlikely. They're doing it on their mains! Like... What is going on? Like, why would you do that? Like, with Aurora, like, all the legendary triggers and stuff? Like, buy alts. They're literally, like, £5 right now. It's super cheap. There's, like, the sale going on. Like, who does this? Like, what is wrong with these people? It's actual unhinged lunatic behavior. It's actual insane behavior. Incredible. You love to see it. But I mean, you know what? You kind of do love to see it. You know, you kind of do love to see it. You know, this is something that I think ArenaNet has not really done anything about for a while, and this is a pretty good solution, and I expect to see them iterate on it in the future. And already, like, the measure they've taken here is pretty damn effective, right? It's certainly cut down significantly on the amount of accounts that are actually engaged in this behavior, which is obviously a good start. So there you have it, guys. There you have it. AFK farming and the leeches shut down. It's the champion Jade Bow. Man, you know what? I'm going to show you guys something depressing. I'm pretty sure the AFK farmers will actually win against us. Let's see if we can, like, lure it in. Hang on. Let's lure it in. And by the way, this is not griefing. I'm not trying to kill the AFK farmers, guys, to be clear. That would be against TOS. I'm trying to help them get more loot. Okay, that's my only motivation for doing this. And look, I said it. That means it must be true, right? Here we go. Oh, no. I think they're winning. Oh, no. Wait, it's a real player. Yo. He doesn't know. Oh, dude, look at the minions. They're too much. They're everywhere. They're not really swarming it yet, though. They're kind of going after, like, the little trash mobs. Here they come, though. Here they come. I'm going to turn up the character model limit. Here we go. Oh, no. No, look at it. It's getting absolutely destroyed. 50 bleeds. 30 poison stacks. They've even got Vuln. These are professional gamers. They got like 20 Vuln stacks as well. Look at that. The turrets are pumping. Can they break the Defiance bar? Wait, I want these guys in my meta events. They're doing more CC than normal players. What's this? What's going on? Wait, look, this is what I'm talking about, guys. The normal non-AFK player actually died. Meanwhile, the full bot players... Oh, no! Look, the normal players are actually dying, guys. Well, meanwhile, the AFK players are completely untouched. They're outperforming regular players, guys. That's crazy. Well, to be fair, actually, this is because... fun fact, guys. This is kind of like a little bit of Guild Wars 2 trivia here. The base AI... for mobs in open world is that they actually target the highest DPS player. Fun fact. So that is telling me that this Scourge might actually be the highest DPS here. It happens with Chat Gerant, for example. You can actually reliably bait the Chat Gerant's movement, its charge attack, for example, by being top DPS. It's not the case on all mobs, by the way, but it is kind of like a very common behavior. That open world mobs go after the highest DPS player. And that's why, to be clear, that's why it's not targeting the AFK farmers or the minions, right? It's targeting the real players, because the real players are doing more DPS, and that's causing the Jade Bow to focus them. So that's kind of what's going on there, by the way, just for clarity's sake. But anyway, oh, this guy knows. I'm here. Wait, I can't even respond. It's over. Never mind. But yeah, there you have it. That's kind of the results of the change. It was obviously a bit bumpy at the start because it wasn't working day one. But there you have it. We're good to go. AFK farming is actually on the decline. And leeching as well. If you AFK leech, you're also going to get kicked. Don't do that, guys. Okay, actually play the game. Come on. Play the video game. What are you waiting for? Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching, YouTube. And of course, like the video, subscribe, and comment. That's it. That's right. I once again tricked my Twitch audience into being in a YouTube video. They love it. They enjoy it. Okay, they want to be on YouTube. You can see they put the frog emotes when I tell them they're on YouTube, right? That's how they're full of joy. And yes, little teaser for you all, by the way. Secrets of the Obscure review. Sunday, midday, UK time. Live premiere here on YouTube. Get ready for it. Turn on the notifications. Get ready for content, my friends. Oh yeah. That's it. I'm out of here.